So I thought I would do an updated sump room video or fish room video. It actually turns out that the last time I did one was back in the summer of 2018, so it's been a while. And as I was looking back on that video and cringing at the mindless voiceover, which of course will be replicated here, I thought, boy, a lot has changed. So here is a quick run through of the new sump room, or excuse me, the sump room as it's currently constituted. A lot of the stuff is the same, but some is different. So I still have the Apex. I still use the same roadie system. The water change buckets are unchanged. That's the dose that manages the auto water changes. I was fortunate to get myself a Trident, so I've been doing Trident automatic testing. I recently decided that I would do what I've always thought I wouldn't do, which was automate dosing. So I've purchased a second dose pump, which actually takes the signal from the Trident and automatically doses calcium and alkalinity. So yes, I have joined the dark side. I had some rather unfortunate looking cobbled together dosing containers, which I don't know, I got motivated back in the spring of last year to work with acrylic. So I built a number of different things, 3 things actually. The first was this dosing container center, which has float switches in all of the containers, and that's kind of cool, and lids that don't warp, and just looking at them they fall off, but it's okay. I'd also built myself a larger algal turf scrubber, which you can't see, but it's back there, and it works pretty well. The sump is mostly unchanged. Skimmer, I'm an unabashed fan of the now defunct Marine Technical Concepts company, so I've been using their skimmers for longer than I'd care to admit. This is an HSA 3000, which I modified with a body extension, and then there's an Avast Marine swabby in the top here. It's hard to see it. It's so tall up, but it's up there. That's the frag tank on the right that I'll get to in a second. That's where I've squirreled away the Trident. As I said, it's worked pretty well. They're not easy to find. Still, they're not easy to find. But I've been quite pleased with it. I think on balance, Neptune's done a pretty nice job with it. The frag tank, which is essentially the same as it was before. The gem tang that was in the frag tank 18 months ago is now up in the display. That didn't occur without a bit of drama, but he's up there. There's now a black tang in here that I had before, although he was in a different tank. I'm a bit undecided what to do with him. He's a wimp, and so I'm concerned that if I put him upstairs with other Zebrasoma tangs, that he will get shredded. But we shall see. I have a couple of quarantine tanks. This one, the Live Aquaria had a sale on tangs this past week, which I hate when they do that, because then I always end up buying a couple of fish that I don't really need. There's 2 Naso genus tangs in here, a Unicornus, which is the blue spine unicorn, and then a Blomingi. They're tiny, they're juveniles. Hard to believe that they'll get to be 18 inches or even, not 2 feet in a tank, but they'll get big. The other quarantine tank has, which is more of a grow out tank, I suppose, than a quarantine tank, has a couple of wrasses in. There's a dusky wrasse. My large dusky wrasse in the tank upstairs had gotten old and ultimately died, and so I found a replacement for him, but the replacement was a little small, and so I'm giving him a chance to grow out a bit in the tank here. There's also a black leopard wrasse in here. The black leopard wrasse is the leopard wrasse that for me personally is the hardest to keep. I never seem to have much trouble getting them to eat initially, but then they gradually waste away, even though I treat them with Prezi-Pro. So anyhow, a couple in here, they'll be in here for a while until they get a bit of size on them, and hopefully this time I'll be successful with the black tang. Moving on around, I had a 120 gallon refugium here, which was proving to be mostly unnecessary. I had some issues with the well system in my house, and the guys who were replacing the system said that the refugium tank had to go because they weren't going to have space otherwise. So I pulled the tank out, and then of course they never needed to come in here. So such is life. But that's gone, and that in fact is where the black tang was before, and now the black tang's in the frag tank. He's, you know, the tank is too small for him, so I am going to need to do something with him at some point soon, but I haven't entirely decided which. Since the last video, I rebuilt or I newly built a larger calcium reactor, which has worked pretty well. So the calcium reactor handles about 90% of the tank's mineral requirements. The dosing, the Trident controlled dosing, then handles the last 10% or so to try to keep the levels dialed in. I'll try to sneak around the corner here. I guess removing the refugium has given me a bit easier access to the sump itself. Here I have a sulfur reactor which I've been using for the last few months to try to get the nitrate levels down, and then a heat exchanger and a somewhat abortive project to potentially replace the chiller and heater on my tanks. So that's kind of a work in progress. I had moved once the refugium got taken out, I moved the UV sterilizer. I actually run the UV sterilizer on the drains of the tank. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. It's a little tricky, but I'm always quite keen to try to not have to add an additional pump to the system. As currently constituted, it eats up enough electricity as it is. So that's now out of the way. It also makes getting the screen out of the surface scrubber a whole lot easier, and requires a lot less swearing. So that's the sump system. Like I said, it takes up a good chunk of the boiler room, of the utilities room, but it's vastly preferable to having all of this crap under the stand. I know some people seem to like sump room videos. You know who you are. So I hope you enjoy this one.